Year 6. Really nice to see you all back again. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all been busy, not getting too fed up, finding lots of things to do. Let's hope you've had a nice Easter weekend with your family. Some chocolate probably, and fun things to do. Rusty and I had a fun Easter weekend, ate too much chocolate, had an Easter egg hunt, and made a wonderful Easter bonnet for Rusty. Look at him, doesn't he look great? Anyway, we've been looking forward to sharing a little bit more of Ratburger with you. We've been enjoying the story so far. Let's see how far we can get today. Okay, get yourselves comfortable. Let's go. Okay, here we go. The next instalment of Ratburger. If you remember, very briefly up till now, we've got our heroine, Zoe, who had a happy life with her dad. Just the two of them since her mum had died when she was a baby. Dad worked in the ice cream factory. Happy life. And he bought her a pet hamster, Ginger Nut, because she didn't have any brothers or sisters. Dad then remarried to the horrible Sheila, the stepmother, who didn't like Ginger Nut, and mysteriously Ginger Nut was found dead. Okay, and Zoe is very, very sad, very distraught. She really loved her hamster. And then when she's in bed feeling all sad, she hears a noise, and there's a little rat in the corner of the room. Here we go. When you think of the word rat, what's the next thing that comes into your head? Vermin, sewer, disease, bite, plague, capture, rat-a-tat-tat. Rats are the most unloved things on the planet. Kittens, puppies, bunnies, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, baby elephants, koala bears, piglets, penguins, butterflies. Loved. Unloved. Slugs, spiders, stinging nettles, wasps, worms, jellyfish, farts, Piers Morgan, rats. However, what if I told you that what Zoe found in her room that night was a baby rat? Yes, this was the cutest, sweetest, littlest baby rat you can imagine. And it was crouching in the corner of her room, nibbling on one of her dirty hole-ridden socks. With a tiny pink twitching nose, little furry ears, and huge, deep, hopeful eyes, this was a rat that could win first prize in a vermin beauty pageant. This explained the mysterious droppings that Zoe had found in her room. It must have been this little mite. Well, it certainly wasn't me. Zoe had always thought she'd be terrified if she ever saw a rat. Her stepmother even kept rat poison in the kitchen. And there was always talk of an infestation in the crumbling block of flats. However, this rat didn't seem terrifying. In fact, if anything, the rat appeared to be terrified of Zoe. When the floorboard creaked, as she approached, it skirted in the wall and hid under the bed. "Don't be scared, little one," whispered Zoe. Slowly she put her hand under the bed to try and stroke the rat. It shivered in fear at first, its fur standing up on end. "Shh, shh, shh, shh," said Zoe comfortingly. Little by little, the rat made its way through the garden of dust and dirt under Zoe's creaky little bed and approached her hand. It sniffed her fingers before licking one and then another. Sheila was too idle to cook, and Zoe was so starving she had stolen a bag of her stepmother's dreaded prawn cocktail crisps for her dinner. The rat must have been able to smell them on her fingers. And despite Zoe's grave misgivings about the snack, which bore no relation to prawns or indeed cocktails, the rat didn't seem to mind. Zoe let out a little giggle. The nibbling tickled her. She lifted her hand to stroke the rat, and it ducked underneath and raced to the far corner of the room. Shh, come on. I only want to give you a stroke, said Zoe. The rat peeked at her with uncertainty before tentatively, paw by paw, making its way over to her hand. She brushed its fur with her little finger as lightly as she could. The fur was a lot softer than she'd imagined. Not as soft as ginger nuts. Nothing was, but surprisingly soft nonetheless. One by one, Zoe's fingers lowered, and soon she was stroking the top of the rat's head. Zoe let her fingers trickle down its neck and back, and the rat arched its back to meet her hand. Most likely, it had never been shown such tenderness before, certainly not by a human. Not only was there enough rat poison in the world to kill every rat 10 times over, but when people saw a rat, they would generally either scream or reach for a broom to whack it with. Looking at this little tiddler now, though, it was hard for Zoe to understand why anyone would want to harm him. Suddenly, the rat's little ears shot up, and Zoe quickly turned her head. Her parents' bedroom door was opening, and she could hear her stepmother thundering along the hallway, huffing with each step. Hurriedly, Zoe snatched up the rat, cupped it in her hands, and jumped back into bed. Sheila would go crazy if she knew her stepdaughter was in bed, cuddling a rodent. Zoe took the duvet between her teeth and hid under the covers. She waited and listened. The bathroom door creaked open and closed. Boom. And Zoe could hear the muffled sounds of her stepmother thudding down boof, onto a cracked toilet seat. Oof. Zoe sighed and opened her hands. The baby rat was safe for now. She let the little rodent scamper all over her hands and onto her torn pyjama tops. Kiss, kiss, kiss. She made little kissing noises just like the ones she used to do with Ginger Nut. And just like her hamster used to do, the little rat approached her face. Zoe planted a little kiss on its nose, and she pushed a dent into the pillow next to her head and gently laid the rat down onto it. It fitted perfectly, and soon she could hear it snoring very quietly next to her. If you've never heard a rat snore before, this is what it sounds like. Now, how on earth am I going to keep you a secret? Zoe whispered. Chapter 7. Animal smuggling. It isn't easy to smuggle a rat into school. The hardest animal to sneak into school, of course, would be the blue whale. Be just too big and too wet. Hippopotamuses are also hard to slip in unnoticed, as are giraffes. Too fat, too tall respectively. Lions are inadvisable. All that roaring gives them away. Seals bark too much, as do walruses. Skunks smell really bad, even worse than some teachers. Kangaroos don't stop hopping. Boobies sound too rude. Elephants tend to break the chairs. An ostrich will get you to school quickly, but it's too big to hide in your school bag. Polar bears blend into Arctic wastes very well, but can be spotted instantly in the school dinner queue. Smuggling a shark into school would lead to an instant expulsion, especially if you had swimming lessons that day. They have a tendency to eat the children. Orangutans are also a no-no. They can be very disruptive in class. Gorillas are even worse, especially in maths. Gorillas are not good with numbers and hate doing sums, although they are surprisingly good at French. A herd of wildebeest is almost impossible to take into school without the teacher noticing. Nits, on the other hand, are ludicrously easy. Some children smuggle thousands of nits into school every day. A rat is still a difficult animal to smuggle into school, somewhere between a blue whale and a nit on the hard to smuggle into school scale. The problem is that it was impossible for Zoe to leave the little thing at home. Ginger Nut's old batter cage was long gone. Her stepmother had taken it to the pawnbrokers. The ghastly woman had swapped it for a few coins, which she promptly spent on a bumper box of prawn cocktail crisps. 36 bags that she had demolished before breakfast. OK, we're going to stop there, but click straight on to part 2 and we'll carry on the story.